What's up, and welcome to episode 38 of Brewing Through the Multiverse. I'm Mike,
I'm Joel.
and we're a Magic the Gathering podcast, and we drink beer.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Okay, so today I have a rainbow stout cookie.
Is that a fucking Italian
cookie stout. Yeah.
Yeah.
It as a stout, and it made me laugh because you sent me that meme just this week about trying to tell people that this strawberry banana fudge IPA was okay.
Meanwhile, vomits.
Yeah, dude. Well, hopefully this is a good one. This is from Bolero Snort. Guy I work with gave me a case and a half of beer. A guy he knows works at a liquor store, had a whole bunch of cans that were dented that he couldn't sell, and just gave him all this beer, which then made it to me. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't ask questions about it.
Yeah, it's like literally fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah. I opened up my truck door. I let it go in there. Got it right in the fridge. But beautiful color. I'm really excited. It actually smells really good. Oh yeah. Anyway, man.
What kind of glass are you drinking out of?
So this is actually a Futurama stemmed Tiku. And if you go around, it's just the entirety of Futurama. I know the camera ain't picking it up, but picture it in your head.
The fuck is a Tiku? Is that the style of cup?
Yeah, it's the shape of it. And then there's either long stemmed or no stemmed, where it's just like the bulb.
And is that like a better beer drinking experience than like traditional beer pint?
There's reasons for cuts of glasses depending on what kind of beverage you're drinking. I don't know any of that. I do it all for looks. And I personally think that these look very fancy when you grab them like a wine glass. So I started off with information and I ended up with, I have no idea why, but that's it.
Also apologize for any sniffles. Allergies are kicking my butt today.
Oh, that post-nasal has been crazy. I feel that. But this is actually really sweet. This tastes like a raspberry candy. Crazy. Anyway, man. Well, before we get into Magic, we're going to have a great weekend this weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. We have a lot of Magic, a lot of fun, a lot of drinking. So, this is kind of
a great weekend.
Yeah, this is kind of the pregame to it all. So, awesome. But have you played any Magic this week?
Yes, I've been on Arena. I did a couple of quick drafts of Bloomborough. I had enough golds for one, and then I bought another one. And I did another Bloomborough sealed. And I have come to the conclusion that I just must be very bad at limited. Because I mean, maybe just drafting. Sealed, I feel like the pool was shit, but I just can't draft. I'm just not good at it.
What'd you draft? In both of them, what were your decks?
So, actually, this is a good segue into like Bloomborough Limited in general. So the first time I tried to draft raccoons, like Gruul, just like Gruul big things, and I found that like every time I went up against rabbits and squirrels, I feel like they just like went around me or like made so many tokens. Then they get like the patchwork banner out, or even like the one drop that taps to give everything +1/+1. I just felt like I was too slow. And then the other one, which I really got hosed on, was my pick one. I got a Balin, that rabbit, that Naya rabbit, that when the tokens, you could tap tokens for different effects. So I was like, oh, awesome. I'll build like Naya offspring tokens, whatever. Got one offspring card in the first pack cycle. And I was like, cool. And bro, I'm telling you, I only saw one more offspring card in any of those colors for the next 2 packs. So I essentially didn't have any tokens. I didn't see a hop to it. I didn't see anything. It was rough. So
damn.
Yeah. Oh, and the best part is that I also got another Balin, pack 3. So two Balins and no token support whatsoever. Now,
That's cruel.
by pack three, it's like you probably should have pivoted, yeah. But I just kept thinking like my opponents always have offspring cards. Why
Yeah.
like I should get some. I didn't see a single one.
I don't pivot either. I'll never pivot. I'll like whatever I decide, pack one, pick one. Suddenly that's
Run it
it.
into the
Even
ground, yeah.
I'm flooded with blue cards, but I chose red white, so that's what I'll wait for. That's fair though. But the offspring shit is everywhere. I think that's just an unlucky hit there because I mean, there's that 5 mana bunny, like the hybrid blue, green, the 3/2 that comes out with two little 1/1s. What's it, the homesteader bunny?
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. That's a shame. Did you win like at least some of your money back, or was it just blowouts?
The Naya thing was a blah. The deck like didn't function. There was no bomb, so to speak, and it wasn't fast, so it was just like nothing.
Yeah,
Um the raccoons, I think I went 2 and 3, so I did get a couple wins. It was like loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then I was out.
yeah.
Um and yeah, it wasn't great. Not
Yeah.
successful. Not
So
since
my
frogs.
yeah, back when frogs. So I've definitely done a few drafts, a few sealeds. I've been very very. Actually, I went two drafts where I went 0-3 in a row, and that kind of hurt my ego a little bit. Because like I just blew out one of them, and I was like, "That's okay, I'll do it again. I got the money for it. Let's do it." And I blew out a second one. The first one was rats. It was blue, black rats, and like I said, I had Maha. I had the mythic rat. I had two of the loot scooters, um, and I just my like what you had said is like my late game never really came because I was just flooded with mice with Valiant. Seems to be what kills me the most. It's like there's these little mice, and they tap something to give it the +1 ability. The Valiant triggers. I now have a 5/5 swinging at me. It's got first strike because the Valiant trigger. That's been my biggest issue is the mice. Um, I just did a sealed last night, and I went raccoons, and the same exact thing you were talking about. There's a bunch of raccoons that are producing the mana. I have the exalt or expend 4 or whatever we pay the 4. I had the big creatures, and I never got into it because there was so much aggro. It's aggro. That's
Yeah.
that's what this whole thing is just keep
Lizards and rabbits,
aggroing.
it seems like.
Yeah, yeah. The lizards with their menace really helps out.
Yeah. Um so actually I was talking a little bit before the cast, but it seems like the general, and now take this with a grain of salt because like I don't know how indicative of the Magic population at large this is, but it seems that on Reddit people are pretty down on this limited format. Um
That's interesting. I'm
basically
having
saying
troubles with it, but I love it.
actually like I'm I'm no good judge of a limited environment. I trust your opinion on that most of the time because I don't play it enough to really like, and I'm not good enough to know the ins and outs. Um, but they did agree with me kind of, which I felt vindicated about like how there's too much spread amongst all the different like animal groups essentially. Like it doesn't feel like there's good enough overlap between the like colored like tribes essentially.
Right.
Um where like there's like basically like rabbits go wide so fucking fast, and like I feel like rabbits is so good. And like I just said, like lizards as well can move really fast, but besides that and like frogs, maybe it just seems like the other ones. Like I tried birds the first time, and birds didn't do a goddamn thing. Especially like a bird that has an ability that helps out like a creature without flying. So like, aren't you already trying to build a deck with all flying? Like, what's the point of that bird?
Yeah. Yeah, that bird is specifically in there for limited when you are stuck with flying and not flying. I do you think that if they cut back on the amount of like animal species that it would or tribes or whatever that it would be better if they just cut some out? Do you think that they should have just put more universal cards in there? That way it wasn't
I
stuck
think
having
they
cards
should
that
have
don't do
cut
shit.
down on how many like animal groups there were, or
Okay.
batch them like mercenaries were batched.
Yeah.
Um, I know that there's some batching going on because there's definitely, there's the cards that say like all otters, frogs, whatever the fuck, yeah, whatever, all birds, whatever the fuck. So there is a little bit of that, but I almost just feel like it's the Ravnica problem where they needed to only do 5 guilds in one set and then 5 guilds in the next set because there's too much going on to kind of want to build all of that. Like there's too it just feels like there's too few like good uncommons in each color pairing to like really make it work.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. I think they didn't need to have birds or rats in this one, you know? I mean, we showed up for the mice, the bunnies, and all that stuff. Maybe rats didn't need to be in this. But I'm still going to defend the limited environment. I think that even though that's there, it kind of adds this complexity to building. Sometimes if they give you the no-brainer, here's how you build it, it's a problem. It is nice to every once in a while have a frog land and pump a bird that attacks for the win. Um, but I definitely hear the concerns of it all because yeah, building a deck sometimes halfway through, exactly like what happened with you, halfway through, you're like, I have some frogs, I have some rabbits, and in a world where we're playing with dragons and giants, you there's just feeling of like I don't feel very powerful right now. I hope I win, but you know, it really does. It kind of feels like smaller animals running around, scurrying and scuttling and doing small animal stuff. But it is fun. And I guess to kind of go into it a little bit too is that's the problem with these cards in standard is they do feel like little animals scurrying around, and we're still in a world where there's shieldreds hanging out. So I'm curious to see how this set actually goes into standard. A fun thing that I had with limited though was the that opossum, the rare opossum with offspring, and they're both mana dorks, and you could tap it to put a 1/1 counter
Yes,
on it.
I'm
Okay.
looking up now.
Awesome card. I mean, the fact that it can be a turn to mana dork, that you can tap it to pump it if you don't need the mana, all that stuff is awesome. And in limited, it's really powerful. But I gotta say, how many times I forgot to tap it to put the 1/1 counter on it.
Huh.
Um, there's so there's so many things that you have to remember to do in this set. Each card and creature is a little valve that you got to turn to keep your deck going, and which one's supposed to swing, which one's not supposed to swing, which one you have to cast first in order to get that damn, I forgot the name of the thing. I'm calling it expend 4, exalt 4. What's that? The raccoon ability.
Expend, isn't it expend?
Is it expend? Okay, that sounds wrong, but so even just sequencing, having that 2 mana that bat bird duo to get 1/1 count, 1/1 life on it, just so many little things going on that I find myself misplaying constantly, and I lose games from the misplays because every game comes down so tight with the aggro.
Yeah, every like
I'm still
one
having
point of
fun.
damage matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I just went through it where I swung in and I cast. It's the 3 mana red instant. All creatures get +2/+0, but you could gift a food and a creature gets first strike. And I cast it and I clicked the wrong. I meant to gift that shit and get that first strike. That way I kept my creature. And I just so quickly I just tapped the first one. And it doesn't like confirm or anything like that. And I lost my creature and I lost the game because of that. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me not playing
Tender
well.
Wild Guide is the card you were talking about.
Yes. Yes, the opossum.
Fucking possum druid.
Yeah, good card. Even in constructed, I think that's a good card. I bet you that's in commander decks. Fucking great card. But again, I mean, who's getting hyped up for that card? Who's going to be paying $8 for that card?
That's $8.
I don't know. It should be. If this was another set and we got like this 2 mana thing, because it's a shitty little possum, I don't know.
No way, it's fucking.
No, there's nothing in this set that's $8.
Besides the fact that fucking Innkeeper's Talent is literally $25.
That's insanity. That's crazy that that's the chase card out of this. What are people tying it up with? What is being paired up with that card?
I
And
mean,
is
it's
it for
like an
standard
amazing
or a
commander
different
card.
format?
Commander.
It works with Nadu, right? Is that something in
I'm
Nadu?
sure everything works with Nadu. I mean, just like it's 2 mana, beginning of combat in your turn, 1/1 creature, 1/1 counter on a target creature you control. So 1/1 counter synergies are abound. Level 2 is permanents with counters on them have ward 1, and then 3 is level 3 is if you put a counter on it, you put twice those many counters on said. So it's like it fits in all +1/+1 counter decks. Literally, any one with green, it's a staple,
Yeah.
and like infect as well because of the counter doubling.
Yeah. Hmm. And there's a lot of 1/1 counters happening right now. So that's awesome. What was what's that one fucking card? Bro, so I my mind is a little fuzzy today. I woke up hitting it hard, if you know what I mean. But
That's the only way.
oh, Roaming Throne. So
Yeah, what about the Roman throne and
I've been seeing so much Roaming Throne in standard. I forgot that this is actually a card in standard. But being able to choose a creature type and having things trigger, Roaming Throne has been everywhere. And I even saw it in one build with the Innkeeper's talent, and whatever it was putting out 1/1 counters, but now it's putting out 2 1/1 counters, and with the Innkeeper's talent all the way up, it was putting on 2 1/1 counters every time it put 1/1 counter on it. Roaming Throne's pretty much like a Delny, and it's in standard also. And it's crazy. So there's these cards that we keep on forgetting because the card pool is so large, and it'll really help pump shit up.
pump it up.
Roaming Throne is also a $25-$30 card.
Is it really?
Roaming Throne, yeah. Yeah, I
Damn.
got the ugly alternate art for $26, and I was pumped about that one. Anything that doubles triggered abilities is going to be expensive,
But there's so
especially
many
in the standard.
effects.
So many.
You have mom. You have that.
What's that?
Is there any other in standard like doubling effects?
Delny is doubling.
Downey and yeah, just like
Um,
it's on everything.
it's yeah. There's 3 or 4 cards that are doubling stuff right now. There is one other one, but again, my mind it's a little off. Give me my rainbow stout. They're out there though. But yeah, so have you played any standard? Do you know anything about what's going on in standard?
So I haven't played standard yet, but I have to say something funny because I have been following, I've been reading into it a little bit more because I was like, getting a bunch of Bloomberg cards, getting my feet wet, getting ready to kind of maybe consider building a deck. And the hipster in me came out because I've actually discovered that right now, apparently, Golgari and Orzhov midrange are both like top tier decks currently as of now in this early Burrow era. And there's actually also like an Abzan deck that's like performing well. And I'm annoyed that that's the case because I like when I build it and it's not popular and I have to struggle through like the better decks and it's like, oh, because I love these colors, I want to make it work. But now that they're popular, I don't want to build it because I feel like, oh, I'm just doing the thing that like is the best because that's what everyone's doing.
Dude, it's so hard living as a hipster because it is one of those scenarios where like if it's not popular, that means it's not good and you're not gonna have a fun time, so you don't want to play. And then if it is good, you're like, well shit, now it's too good. I don't want to play. That's
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking bullshit. I've been running Abzan forever. Now it's good.
I know. It's funny because I know Rakdos good stuff. What do they call it? There's a word for this with thief and removing cards from hands. What do they? Goldfish always calls it for Rakdos something.
I don't know.
But Rakdos is a big problem now with this card Grief. I don't know what Grief does. I don't play that format, but apparently Grief is a problem. You're ripping things from hands, duress
Oh, that's
style
the Modern
effects.
Horizons 2 card, right?
It was reprinted in Modern Horizons too. I guess that's kind of what put it going. Or
Grief,
maybe again,
MTG.
I don't play those formats, but
So Grief is one of the elemental incarnations that you can evoke,
okay,
and it's 4 mana for a 3/2. It has menace, and when ETB's target opponent reveals their hand, choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and you can evoke it for exiling a black card from your hand. So I guess the fact that you could possibly rip two things out with like
right,
a thought sees grief like 1/2 would be pretty shitty.
yeah, yeah, and well, okay. That'll go to nothing, but let me finish this tangent. Is the Rakdos is very popular now, and it's one of those things where when I want to build shit and Rakdos is the popular event, I can't build it in that format. That's why I Disguise is my Rakdos deck in standard right now, because that is the least touched Rakdos cards. So let me go Disguise. Um, which, by the way, Rakdos Disguise is out of control right now in standard with the new rotation. My Disguise deck is a 75% win rate. It's unbelievable. It
Oh
really
shit.
is. You don't have to swing with your creatures. All you have to do is leave 3 disguised creatures. And at the opportune time, once you have the mana at instant speed, you flip the 3 and you win. That's all disguises. It's almost like a combo deck,
Yeah.
except the cards are already on the battlefield, so you don't have to worry about them being countered during the final part of it. And all you need is the Varashino,
Cherry.
the Pyromancer, so 2 Pyromancers and the 6/2. And for 4 mana, you flip them and you win the game. So keep an eye out on that. I'm bringing that shit out. When we do paper standard, that's what I'm bringing. And we got to go play
Word.
for those Cowboy Bebop cards. So
I
get
kind of
something built
want
up for
to,
that.
honestly.
Absolutely. That's going to be a blast.
I feel like
You
that'd be
have to.
fun.
Yeah. No, you have to. But anyway, so that's my Rakdos thing on that. But when it comes to Grief in standard right now, Bandits Talent is another card that's going crazy. That's that 1 in a black uh class. When it enters, your opponent discards 2 cards if they don't discard a non-land, and then it pumps up and it ultimately is like it's like a rack. But you can so the second one is whenever someone has 1 or less cards in hands, your opponent, they take 2 damage like a rack. And then the third one is if at the beginning of your upkeep, if they have 1 or less, you draw an extra card. So this is the card in standard that I'm seeing the most. I'd like to see what the actual lists are, but this build of pretty much mono black, rip your hand apart, make sure you discard cards. I have 2 of these bandits talents out, and then you just lose to the bandits talents and Shieldreds,
That
obviously,
sounds like
because
a blast,
Shieldreds will, yeah,
honestly.
yeah, yeah. So the last recording we didn't record last week, the week prior. I was saying how Warlords, War Leaders Call, and Shieldred were the big part. War Leaders Call has fallen out altogether. I have not seen a
Really?
single deck of it. Not seen a single. Honestly, that now it's at the point where I think I'm gonna have to build it to keep it going because it is a cool deck. But the only deck I'm running into right now is either Orzhov life gain decks that are doing shit, or this hand removal bandits talent, discard your hand style deck.
Well,
Is that
interesting.
reflective of the meta?
I mean, so what I'm seeing is obviously this is best of 3, and you play most of the best of 1.
Yeah.
Um, number one, 17% of the meta is Golgari mid range. And then the second big boy of the format currently is at 14.8%, which is Domain. Um, running Atraxa still as like the top end
Fuck.
of Sunfall, 4 Sunfalls, 4 Get Losts, 4 Herd Migration. So I feel like it's Herd Migration and Atraxa are like the two big ones. Um
Damn, that sounds so unfun and lame. I have not come across a single one of those decks yet, though. Let's say
really.
25 games, haven't seen a single one in best of one on in and I'm mythic, not mythic. I'm platinum level 3. So, I'm kind of up there, but haven't seen a single one.
And then the next one is Orzhov mid range. That's down to 7%, 7.7. Boros aggro at 5.1, and then Gruul prowess at 5% of the meta.
I haven't seen any of those decks. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Interesting. Maybe I'll do what I
Orzhov,
did last time, and I'll log in every deck I go against just so I could
yeah,
see
just to get
what
stats.
best of one. Yeah, for sure. I'll do that this week.
And then I saw some commentary though, and I don't know if this is true because again, standard isn't my forte really either. But people are saying Beza, the white elemental from Bloomborough, that
Yeah.
is starting to compete with Shieldred for space and decks as like the premier 4 drop.
Wow. That's shocking because Beza takes it has to be conditions for you to get the benefits of playing Beza. Where Shieldred, there's no conditions. You just play Shieldred.
No, it's
I
true, but
think
it
that's a
seems like
value.
Beza if you're behind it all, yeah. And then you run it with the Eternal Wanderer, and then use the Eternal Wanderer to blink it to get the benefits again.
Oh, okay. All right. For me personally, I'd rather just cast the Shieldred and draw some cards. That'll benefit you plenty because you gain all that life then. Um, but good. I anything to get Shieldred out of the obvious no-brainer 4 spot would be great. I'll fight a Beza.
Woke up in Beza.
I have that the borderless. Oh, actually, so I saw you cast it also. You must have purchased one.
I did buy one,
The
yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous art. The borderless Beza.
So I'm still buying some packs, but like I did just end up purchasing like all of the random things. I feel like if I just buy one copy of the things that I feel like are cool when a
Yep.
set comes out,
Yep.
like I'll buy less packs because I'll just have like,
Yeah.
bite the bullet and buy the one thing. Like I bought
Yeah.
a Yigra, not because I plan on using it. I just think it's cool, and I feel like one day in the future I might want one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like hold on to it. I feel the same way about like the OGers, like when they first came out, like they weren't terribly expensive in the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
Um the white one shot up to like $20-$30.
Oh shit! Really? Well,
Yeah, the white,
That's the tripler, right?
yeah, the token.
Oh no, no. Oh, maybe. I don't know what the white one does.
That is 6 mana for 2 white, 6/6 creature tokens created under your control 3 times as many of those tokens.
Oh, the tripler. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, all right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Mandrak.
23 $23.
Okay, holy shit. Yeah, Mandrak, the Dominus, the white Dominus, is also a doubler, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Holy
That's a doubler, and the cheapest copy is sitting at market price $38.
damn. I pulled my Mandrak from a random pack, so I never had to purchase that. That was awesome.
Yeah,
But
but that's the shit I'm talking about too, because that was not that expensive when it first came out.
right. Well, I mean, so I think we had the talk of that at Connor and Melissa's of so this set's version of Dominus is the seasons. Buy the
Yes,
seasons now while
which
they're
I did. I got one
$4.
of each. I got
Yep,
one of
yep.
each. Because
Yes.
listen, even if one of them ends up only being $2, I guarantee one of them ends up being like 10 or 12.
Yeah. And if not 16, you don't know. I'm sure you did the same where you bought them without really knowing where you're putting them at first, but you
100%,
just knew
just
get
to
them
sit
cheap.
on them.
And when I got them, I'm reading Season of Lost, the black one, and I realized that Henzi would love this. I already have I have a card in Henzi that lets me draw cards by sacrificing a creature. I have a card in Henzi that deals some damage equal to cards in my graveyard, creatures in my graveyard. I also have one in there that has opponents discard cards, sacrifice creatures. So Season of Loss was all three of them in
Three
one
of
fucking
those
card.
things, yeah.
So, so I got rid of one of the least most effective in the deck, and I replaced it with Season of Loss. And it's shit like that where for $3 to get the borderless Season of Loss when I bought it, it's like hell yeah. Buy all the seasons. Every season, buy one. Everybody.
Yeah. At least one. Just set on one copy for your commander deck.
Yeah. Yeah. And if not, put it in your dollar rares and it'll go down to a dollar rare. Otherwise, it goes up to a $15 card and you have it already.
One day when I build a commander cube, that'll be in there.
Yeah. The best season is the green one though. So if you can only afford one season, buy the green.
Think the green one's the best?
Yeah. Yeah, because it can
like
close
the blue
out
one
games.
is up there.
Only 6 mana to draw 6 cards. You have to be in a position where you could just spend 6 mana to draw 6 cards. That's my thought. And making a copy of a creature isn't always a thing.
It's like cascade into it, and we'll see what you think.
Well, yeah, okay. So if you're not paying the 6, that's the thing. It's like if you play it fairly, it's not the best season. But if you're going crazy,
but you're in blue, so you're not doing anything fairly.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. If you're playing blue, you're not a fair player. But I personally, I think the green can close out a game just with the give 5 creatures 1/1 counters, vigilance, and trample.
Yeah,
paying the 5 mana. Let's face it, you're going to draw more cards with the green one than the blue one. You want 6 cards, you play the green one when you have an 8/8 out, and now you're drawing 8 cards. And that was only 2 paws of your paw ability. So I think the green one's just out of control.
It's fair.
Yeah. And it's also an artifact board wipe.
Yeah, or enchantment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good shit. Grab some seasons. The white one is good in standard, but I don't think it's a commander staple at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have it in my token deck because 5 mana to make 5 tokens is actually not bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of X. White has a lot of white X make that many tokens. Like Secure the Waste, for instance. Secure the Waste is a great card, obviously because it's instant speed. But I'm just saying, it's a pretty on rate, above rate, token maker. And then in addition to that, you have the option to, use the exile clause in case to get rid of something nasty and still make tokens. So I think it's pretty good in token decks.
Yeah. You can't beat 5 tokens from one card is as good as it gets. Yeah. Normally you have to get an X card to do that, but modal. I do like that modal is now such an important part. And, I think honestly, because of Arena, modal is so important. They always say they do the modal when you don't have the option of sideboarding. So modal is kind of like sideboard cards in a main deck. And I can't thank them enough for modal because versatility is what we need in a game with so much randomness. So if you got that shit, it's worth it.
So not quite modal, but question for you. Are you looking to put the Modern Horizons 3 dual-faced cards in place of a land slot in your decks?
I've done it in a lot of them. The problem is they're already like $3-4 for these uncommon modal lands or, dual face lands. But I just bought them for frogs. I bought one of the green ones for another deck. So, I'm definitely replacing them. I don't think it's going to be a no-brainer swap them all out, but for sure there's a need for them. And I was about to ask uncommon.
That. So if you find for instance, I think the black one is a creature with ETB, exile someone's graveyard. Would you put that in a deck that was I don't know, let's say you built a rat tribal deck. Would you put that in your mono black deck? Because Because essentially it's just like a free body or like a land, like a body that you could put in place of a land. Or would you
Yeah.
not run it if it was off theme?
No, I would definitely run it, and if you can, especially in a mono, yeah, absolutely. But again, they're a little bit more expensive than you think. They're more expensive than the Scry dual lands in most cases, just because you
Scry
know.
dual lands are garbage.
Yeah, but I mean, they still do a task. Um, but yeah, no, I honestly, if you have them, good on you because they're already raised up. If we were to flash forward a few, a month, 2 month, 3 months ago, and it was still coming out, and they didn't realize it, yeah, dude, grab them while you can. But it's already too late. They're already expensive. So,
Yeah, because I
but I
I
like
pulled a
them.
bunch because I got a play booster box and when I was going through, I was just like, there's no reason not to. I mean, yeah, three like no one wants to get banged for three life. Late game kind of sometimes it's a little rough and but late game it's like, do you need that lands at that point?
Right,
It
right.
seems like it seems pretty hard not to just replace one of your basic lands in all your decks with whatever color. Even
Yeah.
the white one, I think the white one ETB destroys like an artifact or an enchantment or something.
Oof. Yeah. Hey, I see. I'm not too familiar with them. I know the blue one, which is a bounce, and I know the green one. But I mean, anytime a land can do something. So, how many flip lands do you have? Like, how many of the dual faced lands do you have in every deck? Because every one of my decks have at least two.
Like the Zendikar ones or the
Yeah.
ones with like the Zendikar like pathway lands that are just two different colors on each side, or the ones that are like a
No.
spell and then
Yeah, Bala
lands on the
Ged's
back.
recovery, where you can return a card from your graveyard, otherwise it comes in as a tapped land, or like all that
Balaged's
stuff.
recovery is pretty much the only one of those that I run because they come in tapped. The land comes in on the back comes in tapped. But
Oh,
I run the mythic cycle from that same set in I don't have because I have a shitload of decks. I don't have enough for every single deck, but every copy that I have is being run in a deck as a land.
okay,
Like when I
yeah,
built a green deck, I put like, whatever symbiosis, whatever the fuck that card is called, like that's one of the greens. Or
right,
the blue one that lets you draw a shitload of cards.
okay, all right. Uh, I go down to all the uncommons from Zendikar. Honestly, those are really good too. Just having the red one that you can sacrifice a creature and deal damage equal to its power. Um, I mean, that's worth having it. Sometimes that shit'll save a game. Um,
Definitely
there's
worth
the
it. I'm not knocking them.
Yeah, I know
I
that you
just
you have
can't
kind of the personal
stand
rule of
tapped
non-tap.
lands.
Absolutely. And I
I
I
just
get that and
don't want
I
to do it.
support that. But there's so many good ones. So, yeah, no, I always have them. Like I said, my biggest problem with the modern ones is they are a little bit more expensive than just like a budget land. So,
Yeah.
I have to have a reason for running it instead of just throwing it in because I don't have a bundle in my inventory right now. But they got to keep on doing that. Keep that coming out. I don't know. Did someone just come in here? I don't know.
No.
Okay. These stouts are whooping my ass. So we're gonna go for
The
another stout. We're going
ghost of
for a
Christmas
classic.
past.
Oh my god, the fucking tab broke. There we go. And this is a classic Irish stout called the Dublin or Nothing.
I like
Also
that a
from
lot
Bolaro.
actually.
Yeah, I'm going for it. But
Um
ew, not nowhere near as good as the rainbow cookie.
no, it's the worst, going from bad to worse. Not bad
Yeah,
to
this
worse, but
is
like good to
no,
bad.
yeah, kind of. No, that's fair. That's
Maybe
fair.
a
I'll
little.
accept that statement. Yeah. It's funny. I like stouts a lot personally. I don't like Guinness. That's actually so. This is what this tastes like, a lower quality Guinness, um, which I already don't like Guinness. Like I said, I like a sweet pastry stout, so that's why the rainbow cookie kind of killed it. But like this one's bad. This one's bad. Dublin or nothing. I got the nothing in this one. All right.
Nope. Don't
I
want it.
know you and your
No, thank
damn
you.
beer hatred. We're supposed to be brewing, dog.
Yeah, I'll take like a distillery or something, distilling through the multiverse.
That's yeah. We got to do a whole rebranding. Fucking what's it? Puffing through the universe. We could go that go that
That
route.
that I do frequently. Yeah.
Can I just say? So last episode you said that we should be fist bump. Was it bad luck fist bump?
Yeah.
Dude, so I was listening to their episode. They had of Good Luck High Five. They had Gavin Verhey on. Did you listen to that episode for this week?
No.
Okay, fantastic. That guy is just so cool. He said some really cool stuff. Always good stories. Uh, but it's just such a tangential podcast. And the more I listen to it after you said that, like the more I see just how we do kind of mirror that aspect of we're shooting at the hip, dog, all
Yeah.
the time.
We're just out here making it work,
That's it.
living our
You know,
lives.
yeah. They rely on their
12 people
improv
listen to us.
skills. 12, dude. So, last we didn't do it last week, but the prior week was technically 2 episodes, and both of them got double-digit listens.
Oh, damn.
Both of
Well,
them.
thank you, fan base.
Yeah.
Listening to us not remember the names of cards and mistake rulings live on air, and
I always say I bet they love that shit because then they'll, they can sit there and correct us and be like,
shows you
this
we're
is
real.
what it is.
We're real.
It's
people.
interaction. Yes.
It's everyone says run more interaction. We're just doing it with our audience.
That's it. Yeah, responding. Well, we have gotten comments. We've even gotten comments, dog. We're legitimate. Yeah. Here it is. No, it's good. Keep listening, please.
We're gonna keep doing it, so someone's gotta listen to it.
Yeah, Saturday morning beers.
Yeah, right. Saturday morning beer to the boys. Nothing starts the weekend off better. But I wanted to bring up quickly that neither one of us play Modern anymore, but obviously the big boogeyman of Modern right now is Nadu, and I'm sure they're going to do something about that. But one thing that I was very interested in is that Energy is actually making a strong appearance.
I've heard that,
which is crazy to me because you think it's kind of gimmicky, but no, it's actually making a splash.
It's another resource being added to your deck because you chose to. So I mean, I can see it's almost like a secondary energy. It's like artificial energy, artificial mana. What are the win cuts? Oh Jesus!
Boros Energy is the most popular energy deck. It's the second most popular deck according to MTG Goldfish, and it's running the Guide of Souls, the 1-drop that has 1/2. When another creature ETBs, you get a life and an energy, and when you attack, you can pay 3, put 2 1/1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature, and it becomes an angel. I'd imagine that the removal is pretty good, like Galvanic Discharge, the 1 red, and then you get 3 energy, and then you could spend as much energy as you want to deal that much damage to a creature or a planeswalker. And I think the top end is Flange or Flage. Titan of Fire's Fury.
Okay, yeah. With the escape cost.
Yeah. With which is Lightning Helix on a stick, essentially.
Okay.
Johnny is a 4 of in there, the Flipwalker from Modern Horizons. And Ocelot Pride is a 4-drop as well, a 4 of as well.
So that's honestly Modern Horizons 3 exclusive deck.
Yeah, everyone complains that Modern Horizons releases essentially are format rotations because every single, now this is 3 for 3, every single time Modern Horizons come out, the top decks are all built around cards from the set.
How do you feel about that? As a person who doesn't have a dog in the race, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of, I guess I like it, and I don't have a dog in the race, but I like it because generally speaking with Eternal formats, things kind of settle into into place, and then to something for something to make a splash in it, then it needs to be pulled out of Standard, And I was reading somebody's like commentary saying that like before the Modern Horizons 3 like decks really kind of like came out, like there was like one or two cards that like penetrated from standard into like modern, really. Like Fatal Push was kind of like the last big one. And I don't know if this is true. I didn't look into this at all. I'm just saying like what regurgitating what I read, but like that they can't push the power level in standard enough to like make waves in modern
Right.
because that would fuck up standard. And that's
Right.
just like not the type of things you include in standard decks anymore. Because a lot of them are built on like, older strategies like Tron and like, I'm trying to
Right.
remember
Which we
old.
we saw in Throne of Eldraine was one of those sets where they did push it to get into the Eternal formats, and it fucked up standard, and then
Yeah,
it
it was
fucked up.
so
Yeah.
strong.
So yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's like cool that like, allows it allows different strategies to shine, every couple of years. And like maybe Nadu is too strong, but like the fact that energy is like a viable deck is to me awesome. Because
Yeah.
when the fuck was energy ever going to be anything other than a Kaladesh like one off? So
Yeah.
Tron's still going to exist. You know, Murktide we used to be like one of the top decks. Now it's not as popular. Like that's cool. You see
Yeah.
less of the strong thing. So I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah. I for me personally, I am all about rotation and variation in decks. That's why I like standard so much. That's why I play, 14 different standard decks at any given moment. I like the variation. I like when multiple things are viable. But on the flip side, I do understand that if someone's going to invest $1,000 into a modern deck, they want that deck to be playable for a few years. I know that that's always the argument. However, for me personally, as much as there are those people out there, and I respect it, in order to keep a healthy format, you do need shit turning fresh.
Yeah.
That's why Call of Duty has their season pass. That's why Fortnite has their season passes. Is they know that after a few months, shit has to get swapped up. So get what you can out of the next few months, the year that this season is going, and then after this is done, we're gonna go somewhere fresh. It's gonna be exciting, this and that. And if the rotation never happens for a format, as much as there will always be people going in and enjoying the originals, you're eliminating a lot of players that like variants. So I'm all for them printing right into modern. But again, I'm not a modern player, so I it could be burning, and all I see is like, oh, nice, they have new cards,
Yeah. It's so bright out here.
But I think that's awesome. I support it. I think it's a win-win in terms of now there are people who wouldn't be playing modern because they saw a card printed that they wanted to play into a constructed format. And then there's also Wizards of the Coast making a fuck ton of money from this as well. So it's a win-win for me. I feel bad for the people who keep on getting their decks shaken up after they just invested all of their vacation money on a deck, and then suddenly Merc Fiend isn't a thing. So I get it, but for me personally, I love seeing them just throw wrenches into formats and stir it up, and now people are trying new stuff. That's what it's all about, man. This is Magic the Gathering. Above all else, is a puzzle, and you're trying to solve it in deck building, and you're trying to solve it in play style. And deck building is half of what the game is. So if the deck is already given to you, you're missing half the game, in my opinion. But
So people that
that's
net deck
and
be
absolutely, and
damned.
that's I respect that also. But I'm brewing. I am a brewer at heart,
Through the multiverse.
right through it. But yeah, no, I love that. It's the problem solving. Standard has been a blast. Before we go into something else, I just want to say, absolutely, anybody who's out there playing standard right now, I know I said I'm coming across a bunch of bandit, but it's all worth it. It's like it's all new cards. They're all doing new things. There's new ways to combat it. Um, Dude, it's just so nice not to see the same cards and to see Bloomborough cards fighting through, and I don't know, man. I gotta say, standard is formulating into something. There's still no definite win, and for me personally, right now, I'm running. I still have mercenaries. I have the disguise deck, which I'm saying is my favorite right now. Um, my Throne of the Grim Captain got fucked up a little bit with rotation, so I'm waiting until there's time to bring that and edit that out. But the other one is bats, dude. Okay, so
Fuck
oh, my
bats.
mother's calling me. I'm gonna pause that. No, okay, listen, hear me out. I recorded it. I didn't send it to you because I sent you so many recordings of my arena games. Um, but so there's the bat that gains life. There's that crawling bat that you hated so much.
Essence
Oh,
Skycaller or something.
okay, that's we do need to call that out because that's actually the best bat in the deck. MTG Essence
I think it's that.
Channeler.
Essence something
Essence
caller.
Channeler. Okay,
Essence. Yeah, I was right.
as long as you've lost life this turn, it gets Flying and Vigilance. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Essence Channeler. Whenever it dies, put counters on a target creature you control. It's a 2/1 for 2 mana, no flying. Okay, so here's how it works. I'm playing it in my constructed deck. I put out that bat that gives a 1 life every time a creature comes in, or you put in the El Kier Un, the black white legendary creature. Whenever a creature enters, gain a life. Whenever a creature you control dies, your opponents lose a life. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't remember the name. Okay. So I have him in there also. So either creature's out, you play the Essence Channeler, you gain the life, it gets a 1/1 counter on it. Now, if you have Delny out, you gain 2 life,
Yeah.
and then you get 2 counters on it, which I think ends up to 4 counters. No, it might just be 2 still. But either way, then you put out Coraline, Zoraline.
I think it's
Jesus Christ, this
Zoraline.
Zoraline.
Zoraline's a
This is
great
why you
movie.
guys listen. But and you play that out, and then you gain the life, 2 life, which puts the 2 counters, and you swing, and every bat gains a life for attacking, but that'll Delny makes it trigger twice, so now you're gaining 2 life. This thing will become like a 10-12 in 1 turn. And then when they kill it, all those counters go on to your Deep Cavern bats, and now you have like an 11/11 flying lifelink creature. The bat deck is so it's such an exponential spiral where once you have 3 or 4 bats out, if you drop Essence Chandler or Zoraline or Deep Cavern or just simply the fucking 1/1 with lifelink for 1 mana, bats is out of fucking control. I'm not playing it right now so much because I am having fun with the Rakdos, but bats will be a serious fucking deck, and I'm gonna make it happen. So
Word.
everybody, honestly, check it out. Delny, that black white legendary creature that has all the enters entering and leaving, and because he's a 2/2, Delny triggers with him on everything. I mean, how many times I've had 6 bats out and I just swing in, and even if they kill my bats, he's going to deal 2 damage because Delny's out also, and not even like they could block the bats because Delny's out and the bats
Yeah.
are 2 something. So dude, bats are crazy. So check
All
that
right.
out.
Here's a
In
scenario.
essence, Chandler is the answer. But go ahead. All right, hit me with that.
You get a golden ticket invitation to the Pro Tour.
Yeah,
What and you unlimited budget. What standard deck are you bringing to compete?
mercenaries
Really? That would be your jam?
immediately. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Because
shit.
turn 2,
Okay.
if you can turn 2 get out Vial Smasher, and turn 3 just start draining them, and when you drain them with Vial Smasher, it triggers committing a crime. And for me personally, as an aggressive Rakdos player, I'd be able to turn that into some pretty fast games with and then you just stock up on, go to the throats and just pointed removal, murder. I'll run murder because that's going to trigger my creatures to do things, and I'm making sure that your board's fucked up. So for sure,
You do fell.
mercenaries. No,
Did you run fell in there? No?
no.
Too slow?
I can't. Sorcery speed removal doesn't work for me.
Not even as like a 2 of, like a 2 and 2, or like a 2 and a 3?
No, no, no. Which I mean, I get it. and it works well against me. But for me personally, I like, especially in this format, there's a lot of like pumping and protecting creatures. I like to respond to that stuff and kill their creature
Understood.
at in response because there's just so much bullshit.
I could see myself running Fell in a deck where I had extremely powerful one drops. Because then the cycle would be drop your one drop, they put out their one drop or their two drop, depending on what turn it is, and then you fell it turn two, and then you can swing in with your one drop. You know what I mean? Like I could see it being run there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. But also, why not just run a go to the throat? It's going to get rid of it too. It's only non-artifact creatures. If it was an artifact creature, you can't handle it. But there's no. Well, I did say roaming throne's coming around, so you can't handle a roaming throne. But I mean,
That's about it.
yeah,
But I
bitter
guess the
triumphs.
brothers were like fucking machines that nobody plays with.
Yeah. Although I did see it this morning. I fucking played a game this morning, and there was the flying 3/3. Whenever it attacks a creature you control, gets lifelink, vigilance, or flying, or some shit like this. And someone was playing it, which was actually hysterical. Okay, so cool little story on standard. I built a singleton green, blue, black deck, and it's just all singletons besides Assassin's Trophy, obviously, because that's a fucking good card. And then there is the Jetsam and Flotsam, or Flotsam
Yeah.
and Jetsam, and I have 3 copies of that. And the goal is to ultimately I have a whole bunch of shit with my deck and Threshold and all this graveyard shit. But also, I want to cast your shit from Jetsam, from Flotsam and Jetsam, and I was able to hit the Meekstone. Was it the legendary Meekstone and Weakstone? And
Yeah.
then on the second cast of it, I got their Urza. So I
No
had
way.
Urza and the Meekstone. And so my next turn, I trigger it only to find out that it says specifically if you control and own both of these cards. So I spent 7 mana to trigger it, and it didn't flip into the Planeswalker.
I'm so oh damn, yeah. I guess Arena
Yeah.
lets you make fuck ups like that.
Yeah, because you can pay it, but then
Because
the
in real life,
conditions.
you would say, "I'm gonna pay this and do this," and they would say like you can't like flip it, and then you'd say, "Oh, do you mind if
Yeah.
I actually don't do
Well,
that?" Then and most people would say that's fine.
most people, unless
Your pro
you're
tour,
at, yeah, and then suddenly they would relish in it. Um, relish in it, revel in it. What would be the proper vocabulary term for that?
revel
Would
in
be
it.
relish, revel in it, right? Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude. So it was fun to get that, and I thought I had him. I took a screenshot. I was going to record it happening, and then I fucking punted that game. I still won that game, but yeah, I built a singleton standard deck besides 2 cards. And it's been fun because Glarb is in it and, all of this crazy shit. There's that spider, which I think is something that you could and would run if you were playing standard. It's the 2 black greens 3/3 spider with reach. When it enters, you can sacrifice a creature and destroy a non-land permanent. And then when it dies, you can exile it and gain life equal to the creatures in your graveyard.
that's a nice spider.
It's removal when it enters. You could sacrifice some bullshit you don't need, and then when it dies, you gain 7 life
Hell
sometimes,
yeah.
and it's got reach. So fucking standard, so good. All right, let's go into one more thing I want to talk about here. Powerful cards in standard is something that I was thinking about this week. When I went into the shop, I had to go grab some stuff at the shop this week, and I had gone the week prior, and I bought a Nadu when I was building my turtle deck, fucking frog deck. So Nadu is the 3 mana bird. Whenever you target a creature you control, you can look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it out. Otherwise, put it into your hand. It can trigger twice per creature. Nadu is the problem. Blah blah blah. In Commander, it was perfect for my frogs. Tyler was like, what the fuck are you buying a Nadu for? What dirty shit are you doing? I'm like, no, it's only going into frogs. It's not doing anything dirty. And then we played and it did dirty. It was crazy. how effective Nadu was. Every targeted ability is going to make Nadu get you a land or get a card in hand. That is serious. That's if it just said draw a card, it would be less good than draw a card or play this fucking land for free.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it was so good. And I had it triggering 3 or 4 times a turn. And this fucking bird was phenomenal. But it wasn't broken. Now, there's a lot of ways you can put Nadu into a deck and make it into this fucking combo. There's ways you can take so many cards and turn it broken. There's always a way to break a card every fucking time. So what I want to say this week is I think banning a card because it can be broken is the dumbest shit in Magic, and I think we need to stop doing this. And I'm going to bring it to specifically the that engine. That artifact 5 mana artifact
Paradox?
engine,
Is
paradox
it?
engine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I think that should be unbanned because yes, you can fucking break that card. But that enables so many decks like persistent partitioners is how I used it specifically, and that was not broken in that. It was just something that finally let something that wasn't too powerful work the same way frogs aren't that powerful, but Nadu's allowing it to kind of, get it. I'm so tired of people saying Hull Breacher. Fucking Hull Breacher is banned because people can break it and do. I think we need to, as a community, stop banning cards that can be broken and understand if we're going to break a card, we're going to break a fucking card. And that's just what we do as a Magic player. But we also can police ourselves in our, in our pods and in our metas and in our personal play groups to say like, well, obviously I don't want to do this, or let me do it 3 times and then I won't do it again. Let me just get my fix and I'm out of it. So, playing Nadu and having so much fun with it while also not breaking a game was awesome. And it's a shame that I'm not allowed to have fun with Nadu because people are saying Nadu's a broken card and it can be broken. So,
Well, it's not banned yet. You still got time.
but okay. For modern, I can understand maybe in modern because that is a specifically constructed trying to win competitive thing. Do you think it should be banned in Commander?
No, I don't think
Okay.
I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no more or less broken than any other CEDH type commander deal. And then at the same time, Rule Zero discussions exist for a reason. Like, I don't typically play in random pods. Like, we're very well versed with the pods we play in, and I think we self police pretty well in terms of like everyone asks what everyone else is playing, so we get like the best game possible. Like
Yeah.
nobody would slip in. Like for you running Nadu, like you were running Nadu and frogs. Like frogs, I firmly believe in. There should be no problem with putting your mana crypt in your like frog deck or whatever. You know what I mean? Like obviously that card makes decks better, but I also feel like if your deck's synergy or theme isn't necessarily the most powerful one, that adding things like the Nadu or the crypt or the mana vault or what have you helps those like less powerful strategies compete with like more established strategies. Because at the end of the day, what are you casting with 5 mana in your frog deck? Probably another frog.
Yes, most definitely another frog. Can
That's
guarantee
what I'm
another
saying.
frog.
So, like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't matter. At least it'll allow you to stay consistent with the other decks that are moving quick. So,
Yeah.
I'm all aboard, with, self police. Talk to your pod.
Yeah.
You know what kind of games you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's hard for me because you hear the commentary from the mass community on whatever social medias, and they're all so negative on it. And even like I said, when I bought it, Tyler kind of made the comment of like, "What the fuck are you doing with the Nadu?" And it's like, no, I'm not doing it. You
Yeah.
have to defend playing a card because it can be broken, but it doesn't have to be broken. And these are just facilitators for underpowered decks again like Hull Breacher or Paradox Engine. And I built my petitioners deck so carefully and with Paradox Engine in mind. And when it got banned like 2 weeks after I had built it, it broke my heart because my Paradox, my Petitioner's deck was not powerful. It was not like a problem, but it needed that card in order
Yeah.
to keep it competitive. And when that thing left, it was rough. And then I keep on seeing it happen again and again to other cards. And I think we got to listen to what the fucking, the community's saying, but also understand that yes, any card can be broken. We have 35,000 fucking cards in Magic as of a few years ago. What would we got? Like 42,000 cards now or some shit?
Yeah, some
Like,
insane shit.
Like, listen, they're all broken. Just don't do it if you don't want to be part of it, and it's, if you don't want it happening, don't run it yourself. And that's the best way to do it, because I'm a person who doesn't like to tell someone don't run something. I allow anyone to run anything. But if I'm not running it myself, and after a few games, they're constantly seeing like, oh, he's also not running it. I keep on winning this because he's not running it. Then, they do eventually kind of be like, all right, maybe I won't cast it right away. Maybe I won't, tutor for it. If it happens, it happens. And that's a good way of letting someone know the limitations without having to say like, hey, I don't want you to play this, because me saying don't play this is the same as them banning it on me,
Yeah.
So like, always play whatever you want to play, but
Just fucking run it.
Yeah, but it's just it's in
Get
the air
your win,
sometimes.
switch to a weaker deck. There you go.
Exactly, yeah. And that's all fair too, is we're all here for different reasons on the same game. But I just had to put that in there because Nadu, I had so much fun with Nadu, and I felt guilty for enjoying Nadu.
No, and nobody was upset about it.
No. And I did win. My frogs won that game. The next time I played frogs, it did not go as well.
No, yeah.
But Nadu helped them along. And
One for
can I
two,
just say,
amen.
yeah, and biomass mutation was how I won with the frogs. To give it base power, toughness X, where X is whatever you pay into it. I had the biomass mutation from Fallout, but I would not run it because the original art had frogs on it. So I ordered the copy of this fucking card just so that the frogs were on it when I cast it. And that's the flavor we're looking for in Commander here.
Absolutely.
To the multiverse. Oh, Jesus. Well, I think that's the bottom. Well, actually, I got a little bit here. So let me just ask, man. We're gonna officially this weekend, we're gonna have our first real self-promoted 8-person draft. And I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited to draft.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. What are we drafting?
We are drafting.
Oh, it was in the back the whole time?
We are drafting Commander Legends Battle of Baldur's Gate. So it will be
let's go.
It will be a Commander draft with Baldur's Gate.
I'm gonna have to look up the rules today.
Yeah, you draft 2 cards each pass. So you take 2 cards each pass, and you draft it up. It ends up being a 60-card Commander deck. Singleton doesn't matter. And there is that colorless legendary card that can be partnered up in
with
order
anything.
to add, or at least just be that as a commander, so you have at least a color. But
yeah,
I'm fucking so excited. And then every and any card pulled ends up going to you, so it'll be a fucking blast. Hell yeah, man. So
I'm fucking hyped about that.
Okay, so, and here's a funny story too. I don't know how much this is like too much insider, but it's the funniest thing in the world. So we ended up getting Harold to play. So Harold is a kid at the shop. A kid, we're all fucking middle-aged men here, but it's a kid at the shop. And we played against him in a pre-release, and he had, I was playing against him. Never played against him before. I mentioned where I lived. He's like, that's funny, I live in Pennsylvania too. I was like, yeah, I live on Milford Road. He goes, that's funny, I live on Milford Road too. And he ends up being my neighbor. I've been trying to get him to play, but it's always hard. I hit him up hours before we're playing and be like, hey, can you make it an hour away to play Magic the Gathering right now?
Yeah.
But so I'm so excited he's coming to play. He goes to the shop excited, and he says to John, he's like, yeah, I'm going to play Magic. I'm doing some draft at an event. And he goes, is it for Joel's bachelor party? And he goes, I don't know. I don't know whose it is. And then he goes, "Well, did Mike Alfaro invite you?" And he's like, I don't know. I honestly don't know that either. I just go to play Magic." And I was like, "That is the fucking most man thing I ever heard in my life." Where it's like,
Yeah, just
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
be there.
I'm there though. But he's excited. I'm excited. I can't believe we got 8 people locked in.
Yeah,
It is so fucking good.
we
So
doing 2 pods of 4.
yeah, yeah, 2 pods of 4. We're gonna have 2 separate tables set up, and then it had to be 8 people. That way we can do the complete draft, and then as commander happens throughout the day, there's always 2 full pods that can be running,
Yeah,
depending on whether people are playing or not. But hell yeah, it'll be a
hell
good
yeah,
time.
very excited about it.
Yeah, man, it'll be good. Um, I got some tasty snacks. It'll be a good time. But so yeah, so for Much Magic, we'll have good stories on that. Um, is there any final parting words?
Um, I can't believe that Duskborn is only a month and a half away.
No, it's not. It's like 4 months away.
September 27th.
Jesus. All right. Do you think that set is going to be overshadowed by the cuteness of Bloomborough, or do you think we're
I think it's
ready
gonna be
for
the other way
some
around.
dark shit? Oh
I think it's
yeah,
gonna be the other way around. I have a feeling that Bloomborough is going to exist in a little bubble, and that Duskborn is going to be like the next like traditional Magic set or something. Not that Bloomborough
right.
isn't. I don't know. I just have a feeling that it's going to be more played more nicely with the format at large.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we're not saying Bloomborough isn't a good set in any forms. It is a phenomenal set, but there is a feeling that's missing from like the massive powerfulness of the multiverse that is not in
Yeah.
Bloomborough, which is good. It's a nice reprieve and it's good cards, but yeah, I think some nightmare monstrosities are going to be awesome. I'm ready for it. Well, so
Yeah.
Dustmorn is like modern horror, right? So it'll be like
It's like
a
80s
thrasher.
horror,
Oh, okay, okay. Then what's
which
the
is 40 years ago.
Duskmorn? Isn't there another one that'll be?
Well, Duskborn, yeah, you could say modern horror is in like for the past like century. Because
Okay,
like
okay,
previous to
okay.
that, it was like Gothic horror is like Innistrad.
That's right. Or
This
even
is more like
Murders at Karlov Manor, where that was like
yeah,
a old
murder
murder
mystery,
mystery.
Victorian era.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. I'm working on it. We're almost at the bottom of the glass. These stouts are just fucking a lot heavier than the fucking Modelo's that I've been drinking. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna be fucking done. Um, so I got my knife show coming up in a few weeks, and I've been slowly putting together handles. I have 9 knives ready to get finished up, and dude, I have this one cleaver that I'm about to finish up. It's gonna be the first one I finish. It should be posted next week. So if anyone wants to follow me, it's at Alpha Blade and Forge on Instagram. But I have this handle that is half wood and half clear glossed resin, and I polished up the side and I put it onto a white liner. That way it'll illuminate this shit, dude. This is going to be one of my favorite cleavers I've ever done. I have all the stuff laying around me right now, and I'm excited for you to see this one. So, well, I have it here, but I can't show it off yet. It's not finished up. So, I have some really, really nice knives that'll be coming out over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then September will be when I sell it. So keep an eye out. Follow me. And on that note,
There it is.
there it is. That's the bottom of the glass. Until next week, we need new sets. I know everyone complains about new sets coming out, but that shit gets me so excited. Just keep it ever flowing. New cards, spoiler season, nonstop.
Never ending. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it was so funny. Quick last tangent is that people bitch online about a never ending spoiler season, and we've traditionally always said, like, fuck it, just give me all the new cards all the time. Like,
All of it.
I'm happy to keep reading about new cards and getting excited about shit. I need that dopamine rush. But there was a pre-order link for the Duskborn Commanders that got posted, and like the picture of the commanders is like a post-it, like it's so small, and people are like zooming in and like, well dude, that looks like it says death touch, and like, oh, that's definitely surveil one. And like people are like, how do you hate constant spoilers and yet we're fucking CSI enhancing like this blurry ass picture of a fucking commander just to see what it does. But they do
Yeah.
think that they deciphered what the black green one does, so that's pretty cool.
Is it good
And then
shit?
it's off the cuff. I believe it's Death Touch. It's either like enters mill 4 or attack mill 4. And then if you have Delirium, this might all be involved in the same ability, but you exile 4 cards with like cards with different land types, and then you can play one of the cards, not land types, but card types, and then you can play one of the cards exiled for free. So it looks like you're putting things in the graveyard, and then you're self milling, and then playing things for free with that. It seems like a lot of hoops to jump through, but I feel like it could be fun. I was looking for a Golgari kind of like graveyard type thing to do, so maybe I'll get that one.
Yeah. I mean, so that sounds very similar to what my 3-color standard singleton deck is doing, where it's like just get things in the graveyard, take advantage of graveyards. Threshold, Descent is another thing where whenever a permanent goes in your graveyard, Descent triggers. So milling will trigger Descent. There's a lot you can do with that. So good, because I've been trying to tinker with the graveyard stuff, and although there's a ton of cards that are throwing things in graveyards and taking advantage of it, there's no like real winners, finishers, and like true themes to it. So
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool that they're going to be bringing that in at a time when it'll still be in standard, and which makes me hopeful that the main format also has a bunch of graveyard ready stuff, because then Glarb and shit like that can be. I know Glarb's not really used in the
Glarb.
graveyard, but it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. So that's cool. No, listen, we are nothing but walking hypocrites of ourselves as Magic
Yep.
players. We
Love it.
we complain about everything that we love dearly, and I'm all for it. That's
I'm here for
that's
it.
what
Yep.
we do. All right. Well, I have more beer appeared in here. There was some in the can apparently. So let me just.
And that's the bottom of the glass.
That is. You have a go, man. I will see you in a little bit for a wonderful weekend, and
Yep.
drink some water.
Yep. Doing it now.
Take it easy.
Ladies.